Hey, it's Tilly. Welcome back to the Tilly Talks Tech podcast, where we dive into all of the amazing things and beautiful and creative and incredible things happening within technology. If any of my listeners are a fan of Charlie's Angels, perhaps, or Totally Spies in my generation, if you grew up watching pop like I did, or maybe that one episode of Bobby's Dream House where she just has a gadget for everything, the lady I'm talking to today is the woman who's actually bringing all of that to life. She is at the forefront of bringing beauty and technology together. I'm talking about colour-changing tattoos that react to your body's chemistry. I'm talking about conductive hair extensions that can send signals to your phone. I'm talking about paying for things with the blink of an eye, because your eyelashes are conductive, of course. If anyone knows anything about me, I am a sucker for makeup tutorials. It was actually one of the things that taught me to use my brand comms when I was first practicing with such dexterity, Doing an eyeliner wing is kind of hard. I love doing my makeup with my brand comms, and that is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to beauty and technology colliding. So, buckle up and get a drink, because today we are talking to the queen who is pioneering the world of beauty technology. What a treat! I'm super happy to have you on the podcast. And just before we start, because you're kind of a jack of all trades, how do you actually introduce yourself? Like, are you a scientist, engineer, designer? What do you lead with?
I usually just say professor because I think I could embrace all of the other ones too. So,
like, you're a pioneer in beauty technology. You've made some amazing projects. I've been doing so much research, and everything I read, I'm like, what? Are you for real? Like, that's actually happening? There was stuff like hair wear. That's like hair extensions that act as secret like touch sensors, and you can like send signals and things like that, which just feels totally spies, And then there's like winky mode as well, so that you're sending signals with the blink of an eye.
That's correct.
That is crazy. What came first for you? Was it beauty? Was it tech? Like, how did these two things collide in your brain?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think in my brain, I would say that it was merged both of them together because I have a background in computer science, and at the time this was part of my PhD. And as a PhD, you are always kind of like trying to find your own topic and what you want to specialize. During that time, I was very lucky to be in Hong Kong. It was kind of very open-minded for me because I was in an arts department that is also not very traditional for a computer scientist. And I was kind of like fascinated for the way women there were kind of like approaching cosmetic products in general. If we're already using these different cosmetics, what if we empower women with technology?
Yeah, that's so cool, because you're right, it is a very like male-dominated thing. In a very male-dominated space, it's like being loud about what a lot of women, love and like express themselves with. Like, I remember the first time I started getting into makeup, I think I was about 13 years old, and it was quite funny because it was one of the first things I did once I got these prosthetics, because I was curious as a double amputee how well I could do my makeup with hands versus without hands. Getting hands for the first time, you think there would be other things on your mind, like, I don't know, making a cup of tea or something like that. But like me as a little girl, it was like, I can't wait to get these hands so that I can do my makeup and see if it can actually like enhance that. But onto some of your projects. What was like the first sort of like project that you decided, okay, I'm gonna work on this, and really brought that vision sort of to life? What was the first sort of draft?
Yeah, well, at this time I was working with Trisha Flanagan at Hong Kong, and she's an artist and she does amazing fashion pieces. And we were considering blinking. What we ended up doing was these fake eyelashes that you put, like one up, one down, and it has like a conductive eyeliner with a hiding circuit on the hair. We were able to detect blinking. So we were talking about different ways to use time or machine learning, so incorporating kind of like technology aspects into the design. But at the same time, I was also going to a chemistry lab. We were using chemical process for metallizing traditional fake eyelashes, but now coated with a conductive material. So they became a sensor.
And did you put that into practice? Like, I think I read somewhere that you like paid for something with your eyelashes or something like that.
Well, I was doing a lot of this kind of like performance that I was a superhero. So I had an eyelashes and all the
Ooh.
costume, closing my eyes, and making a drone to fly. Basically, just using a remote control on my eyelashes.
Oh my goodness. So how do you actually do that? Is it like blink to fly?
Yeah, basically that.
Oh my goodness, what like relentlessly blinking?
No,
Like
you have to blink for a few seconds to activate it. So that's why we came out to think about the voluntary versus
mhm.
involuntary movements. But yeah, that was kind of like the very first project I was creating.
I can't believe your first project was making drones fly with eyelashes. Like, I feel like that's like when people reach the peak of their career, they can turn around and say something like that, you know?
It was pretty fun, but at the same time it was also revealing in terms of as I was doing these performances, there was someone that came to me that was Felipe. He was 6-time Brazilian championship in jiu-jitsu, 2 times world championship, very famous. He wasn't able to move his body, and he came to me and said like, I would like to have a superpower. Like there are simple things for a lot of people, like changing the channels of the TV, that for me sometimes I just 30 minutes waiting for someone to come to do that for me. And so we did another project for him that it wasn't involving eyelashes, especially fake makeup. That's what we were using to sense his blinking and to make the TV to turn on and off. I think that kind of like was a peak time for us in terms of how we could see these technologies in everyday life. And a lot of the times, what we do, even now, all the technologies that we create, we open source. Whoever wants to use it and create it, they can do.
Yeah, that's amazing because I suppose for you it was like two interests coming together, but then to see like the real impact that can make on people's lives, like that just turns these two hobbies into like a mission almost. That's really cool. And so you're telling me that I can just like open source and get my own eyelashes to fly drones?
Yeah, well, it requires a process, but definitely it's all available to people to use it. Open Bionics also do something probably similar. I feel like also as a researcher, I'm very privileged because I have this big playground to explore and create. So I just also interested on who will be using these kind of technologies. And I saw some of the projects that are taken by startups, and they did, for example, the fingernails for paying the metro with your fingernail with
Yes.
RFIDs, and then there are some companies, I think even in London.
Yeah, it's really cool. And like, honestly, I mean, I think the more tools, the merrier. You know, I think I used to have like a ring, like one of those you could pay with the ring type beat. But I'm waiting for the day that I can get a little what is it, RFID?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, little chip like that in the finger. That would be really, really cool. And the other one that I want to talk about, I mean, I want to talk about all of them, but hair wear as well. How did that come about? Because like the way that that is so subtle, like you were sending messages and stuff with like the flick of your hair, kind of feels like low-key a little bit dangerous as well. Like, what could people be doing so subtly with this new technology, you know?
Whenever you create a technology, it has like different sites that could be used
Yeah.
for. Our main application when we create that was to use for women safety. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, for example, if you are in danger, you don't want to take out your phone to send a message and to ask for help. We were considering having kind of like secret hair combinations that you touch, and hair is very interesting because if you think about your hair, you touch your hair when you are nervous, when you are
Mm-hmm.
thinking so much about something, even kind of like a flirting device, you touch your hair, mimicking.
Yeah.
So we were considering all these different unconscious behaviors we have with hair, but to make it conscious. So we were using traditional hair extensions, and also again with a chemical process, we metallize the hair. So basically inside of each of your hair are metal parts. The way I like to explain it, it works kind of like your phone. as a
Mm-hmm.
capacitive sensor. So whenever you touch your
Mm-hmm.
phone, it activates, it's open. It basically like that. Whenever you touch your hair, you will send a message, kind of like
Yeah,
connected. So I have a hair extension that is connected to a circuit that has Bluetooth, and that's connected to the phone.
that is so cool.
But also that technology that we say that could be for safety,
Mm.
as it's an unconscious behavior, it could be also, like you could touch your hair and record a conversation, or
Yeah.
that could be also
Oh.
being tricky to consider depending on on who use it.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah, I do get that. And like, there's a lot of conversations in the future. I think we're having the CEO of Signal on the podcast at one point and doing a whole episode on like encryption and privacy and things like that. And I think that is a big concern in like the future, isn't it? It's like the lack of privacy. Everyone's so online at the minute. But then again, there can be regulations, and like you say, stuff like this can do a lot of good, because sometimes you don't always feel equipped to like reach out or, you know, make a scene if you're in public or things like that. So I love that, and I honestly hope in the future we have some better regulations and people can benefit from that technology. Well, thank you so much for that little breakdown. Let's have a little break. I came up with a game which I thought you might like. I'm gonna do a little variant of like Hot or Not, but Sci-Fi Beauty Edition. So I've come across a list of things that could be beauty tools in the future, but I want your expert professor opinion on whether you think they're hot or whether they're not, whether you'd rather not see them in the future. Okay?
Okay, let's try it.
Mood changing lipstick. So you put your lipstick on and then it managed to like change to how you were feeling. But obviously that's cool, but it's on your face. Would you like that?
Actually, we have a new project that is a changing color lipstick with pH levels. So
Oh,
basically,
cool!
your
Oh my god, spoilers!
lipstick, yeah, definitely, yeah. Check our website. We have a lipstick that, like, depending on what you drink or contact with saliva, it could reveal that information from you. Could particularly interesting for people that like have dental issues, bulimic issues, or it could be going through a wider range of ways to discover it. But it's I thought it was also kind of like probably similar. It doesn't tell you your mood, but it tells you what are the chemical reactions happening inside of your body.
Cool. So I assume that's a hot then, seems though you're already kind of doing it.
Yeah, so probably it could happen.
Okay, the next one is kind of what you're making as well, but upgraded, the next level. It says holographic hair extensions. I'm talking hair extensions that project like tiny AR animations, so like you could kind of perform a show with your hair.
Oh, I love that. I love that. We were actually thinking about that and
Of course you were.
thinking kind of like more nanoparticular ways. Nanoparticle ways, like for example, how butterflies they reflect light instead of having pigments. So that could be also been done in kind of like in holographic, and we have a new holographic material film happening soon. So yeah, not in hair, but I can see that it has a potential. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In your outfit or anything, really. The possibilities are endless. Okay, the next one I really, really like, because sometimes you change your mind, you know. And I don't know if this would be possible, but it was programmable perfume. So you could like change the scent that you're wearing with an app. This is very sci-fi, but what are your thoughts on that?
I love that. I had a friend that was working actually in that area of perfume and programmable perfumes with MEMS, and Manisha Mohan, if people wanna check it out. Um, Interesting thing of her project was that instead of using perfume in the traditional way to smell good, she was also using for empowering women. And depending of if you're in risk, you could have like these pheromones that comes out to repel people. So that
Brilliant.
kind of could be in different directions, I guess. But yeah, I love
That's
the idea.
that's really cool. It's like we're becoming like skunks.
Yeah, exactly. Basically
That's
that.
really cool. What the heck? I love that. Okay, this one. I'm hoping there's something on the list that you actually aren't doing at the minute, but I'm really impressed that you are. Skin as a screen. So if you could have little screens implemented into your skin, where I don't know if you've got a notification, kind of like a Fitbit, but internal.
Start with that idea. It's like, could we do that? We end up kind of like thinking more about internal changes and make it visible, mainly because we thought they can like have more medical benefits for people. There are some possibilities of making that like with electronics, as you are mentioning, like as a display. Uh, but yeah, it's possible. I still not done in the proper way yet, I will say.
Okay, and the last one, and I think you're gonna get behind this because I know how you feel about drones, but it's a micro drone hair clips. So they're like clips that can fly out and adjust your style, kind of like little assistants, kind of.
Oh wow, I love that idea. I didn't thought about it actually. So that might be that might have some potential also, like to have your own own drones.
Yes, I came up with an original idea.
Yes,
Cool.
yes. I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you. I mean, I feel like we're pretty in favor for a lot of those things, really. I'm talking to the person pioneering it all, so maybe I've given you some ideas, but majority you already had them all in the first place.
No, those are really cool.
So when it comes to the future of beauty technology, you've obviously been in the space for like a good while now. You've done crazy moves in this space. What do you think it's going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years? Personally, like within the industry, but also how do you think the public are going to get involved? Like, do you think everyone's going to have small eyelashes one day?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that a lot of the times I was also considering, like, oh, this technology is just for this population. For example, the eyelashes. And then Felipe came and said, like, I need something like this. Or when we did that tattoo changing color project, we had hundreds of emails of regular people saying like, oh, I will actually would like to have something like that. A father of a 2 years old girl that has diabetes and cannot communicate and cannot know what's going on in his daughter body, or a guy that for 40 years was pinching himself every day, kind of more elderly, and he was telling me like, I don't wear tattoos, but I will wear it if I could have a way to know what's happening inside of my body. So I think that for me, that was revealing in a way that sometimes we design technology considering a specific audience, but when we show that to a broader audience, it's like, oh, if I actually have that, I don't mind having a tattoo if that will help me with my health.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And like I said, the fact that these like fun ideas to us can actually like really help people is amazing. And what are your views on ethically like the rollout of this sort of technology? Would you want it to focus on people it can help? Or would you want these eyelashes in like the local Superdrug?
uh, I think that at least in my way to create, I still enjoy these kind of like big. I call it always like playground to explore and be curious. So I really like that possibility I have again as privileged researcher to keep creating and keep showing new technologies. So I'm not sure if I will be the one that will put these technologies in the supermarket, but I like the idea of rethinking about femtech, for example, like probably the medical industry is sometimes diminish some kind of or misunderstand some kind of illness we could have because of the lack of research. So I
Yeah.
think some of the next moves I would like to do is to kind of like revitalize the role of woman uh, in our mental health and also our well-being in general.
100%. And yeah, you're right, like we're really behind in that regard, you know, the lack of research when we've been on this earth, like how long both genders, is kind of crazy. So thank God that we have some people leading that now. And I do have a couple of just quick fire questions that I want you to answer. First of all, because we're talking about young women and things like that, what's one piece of advice that you would give any young girl who could be watching this right now?
Yeah, I think that probably as a woman, but also as a Latina, and as a Latina that is in technology, I was always not considered that I was able to do things as I do. I'm still have to deal with that. I'm still always surprised and kind of like thinking about why me, like why I have all these great awards or great recognition. And I think that if I was staying with my previous mindset of not trying, I would probably won't be able to do what I do, and that is what I actually love and what I'm passionate about. They keep hearing it, but sometimes I feel if you hear it from someone that might look a little bit more like you, could help a little bit more. So I guess like believing in what you are, I think it's the one of the most important things you can do.
Yeah, I agree. Representation matters so much. Like, everyone deserves a role model to look up to, so it's super important. And like the fact that you get imposter syndrome when like you're like so smart and have done all this stuff is just so telling. So yeah, imagine somebody with your potential like feeling like they couldn't do it when of course they absolutely can, and you're proof of that. And I'm gonna let you plug, you know, all your socials or where we can find you, because I definitely want to stay up to date, and I'm sure everyone listening does as well. So where can we find you across socials?
Yeah, well, definitely check my website, it's katiavega.com, or also the website from my lab that is IO Lab. IO is Interactive Organisms Lab. So iolab.ucdavis.edu. If you have ideas, share with me. And exciting that I'm here and also to be in this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and hopefully one day I get to try this stuff for real, because I would die. I think I'd be overwhelmed with excitement if I managed to make a drone fly with my eyelashes. So seriously, thank you so much for chatting to me, and thank you for showing everybody just how cool women can be in this space and how beauty and tech really does and can go together so beautifully well.
Thank you so much. You're also a great role model for a lot of women, so I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Katia Vega, everybody, she is literally bringing my dream to life. What a woman. Make sure to check her out, and if you did like this episode, make sure to subscribe, like it, and send it to a friend who might also enjoy. I'm having so much fun getting the coolest guests on the podcast, so if there is anyone in particular you want to see, do comment it down below. Bye!